The rain had just stopped, leaving the streets glistening under the pale morning sun, when Marcus realized he had only $23 left in his wallet. His hands trembled as he counted the bills again at the kitchen table, though he already knew the number wouldn't change. The refrigerator hummed in the corner, almost mockingly, its shelves nearly empty. In the next room, his 8-year-old son Noah was coloring on the living room floor, humming a soft tune to himself, oblivious to the storm brewing in his father's heart. Marcus exhaled heavily, rubbing his tired eyes. He had been working 2 jobs, night shifts at the local diner and delivering packages during the day, but the rising rent on their modest 2-bedroom house was crushing him. He knew something had to change. And that's when he saw the ad he had scribbled onto a torn notebook page: room for rent, affordable, safe. Call Marcus. Before I dive deeper into this journey, let me pause here and ask you something straight from the heart. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in stories that remind us of the goodness still left in the world, then please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to our channel Kindness Journal. Your support helps us keep telling these stories that matter. Marcus taped the ad on the community board near the college campus, not expecting much. Days later, a call came. The voice on the other end was soft yet confident, introducing herself simply as Aria. She explained she was a college freshman, new to the city and desperately in need of a quiet, affordable place to live. Marcus hesitated. Taking in a stranger while raising his son felt risky. But when he heard the uncertainty in her voice, something in him softened. He told her she could come by that afternoon. When Aria arrived, Marcus almost did a double take. She was unlike the other students he'd seen bustling across the campus. Her clothes, though simple, a pale blue sweater and dark jeans, looked like they were woven from the finest material. Her long auburn hair fell neatly over her shoulders, and her bright hazel eyes carried both confidence and a flicker of loneliness. She smiled gently when Noah peeked out from behind his father, clutching a toy dinosaur. "Hi there," she said softly to the boy, and Noah's shy frown melted into a grin. Marcus showed her the small room upstairs, just a bed, a desk, and a window overlooking the street. She looked around quietly and then nodded. "It's perfect," she whispered. Marcus felt embarrassed. Perfect. The wallpaper was peeling in places and the bed creaked when touched. Still, she signed the rental agreement with no hesitation and moved in the next day. In the weeks that followed, something unexpected blossomed in the little house. Aria didn't just stay hidden in her room, she became part of their lives. She helped Noah with his homework, patiently guiding him through multiplication tables. She offered to cook dinner some nights, filling the air with the rich aroma of pasta sauces and homemade bread. Marcus, who had lived on takeout and exhaustion for years, found himself sitting at the table again, laughing with his son and their new tenant like a family. Yet, deep down, Marcus still carried his worries. He knew one late rent check, one medical emergency, could break everything. Aria noticed. She wasn't blind to the way Marcus came home with weary eyes or how his hands sometimes shook when he paid the bills. But she never pressed. Instead, she quietly found ways to ease the burden, bringing groceries with the excuse that she bought too much, or covering Noah's art supplies, saying they were on sale. Marcus always resisted, but Aria's kindness was persistent, gentle, and impossible to refuse. What Marcus didn't know, what he couldn't have guessed, was that Aria came from a world entirely different from his. She was the daughter of Leonard Alcott, one of the most influential billionaires in the country. But Aria had grown up in a gilded cage. She had been chauffeured to private schools, guarded by security at every step, and treated more like an heir than a human. When she begged her father to let her attend college like a normal student, he reluctantly agreed, never suspecting she would slip away from her penthouse and seek shelter in the modest home of a struggling, single dad. Aria had craved realness, authenticity, a place where kindness wasn't bought but given freely. And in Marcus and Noah, she had found it. One autumn afternoon, Marcus came home early from a delivery route and paused at the doorway. He heard laughter, genuine, full-bellied laughter from inside. Peeking through, he saw Noah dancing clumsily around the living room, while Aria clapped along, her eyes sparkling. For a fleeting moment, Marcus felt a pang of something he hadn't felt in years: hope. Maybe life wasn't done surprising him. But struggles don't disappear overnight. Winter came, and with it, an unexpected blow. The diner Marcus worked at cut shifts, leaving him scrambling to make ends meet. He tried to hide it, but Arya noticed the deepening lines on his forehead, the quiet sighs at the kitchen table. One evening after Noah had gone to bed, she found Marcus staring at a stack of unpaid bills. He quickly tried to cover them, but she gently placed her hand on his. "You don't always have to carry everything alone," she said. Marcus, too proud to accept charity, shook his head. "I can't drag you into this. You're just a tenant." But Arya's eyes glistened with unshed tears as she whispered, "I'm more than that. At least I'd like to be." Weeks later, the truth finally came out. Marcus received an unexpected visit, a sleek black car parked in front of the house and a sharply dressed man knocking on his door. It was Leonard Alcott himself, searching for his daughter. The revelation struck Marcus like lightning. Arya stood behind her father, her face pale but determined. "Yes, Dad," she said firmly. "I've been living here, with them." Leonard's eyes swept over the modest home with disdain, but before he could speak, Arya added, "This is where I finally felt human." Marcus's world tilted. The girl who folded laundry with him, who braided Noah's hair before school, who laughed at burnt pancakes, was a billionaire's daughter. He felt betrayed, foolish, and yet something in her trembling voice told him she hadn't lied to hurt him. Arya explained everything that night. Her longing for normalcy, her need to escape the suffocating wealth, her desire to find a place where love wasn't conditional. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she said, "This house, Marcus, it gave me what money never could, a family." It took time, but Marcus's heart softened. He saw her not as the daughter of a tycoon, but as the young woman who had knelt on the floor helping Noah tie his shoes, who had stayed up late brewing tea for him when he was sick. Slowly, trust mended, and in that fragile healing, something deeper bloomed between them. Not just friendship, but the beginnings of love. Spring returned, carrying with it a sense of renewal. Marcus had found steadier work, Arya continued her studies, and Noah, now brimming with joy, often asked if Arya could stay forever. The once quiet house now pulsed with laughter, meals, and warmth. Though life still had its challenges, Marcus realized he no longer felt alone in facing them. Arya, in her quiet defiance of her privileged world, had chosen them. And in choosing them, she had healed parts of him he didn't know were still broken. By the time the lilacs bloomed outside their front yard, Marcus understood something profound. Family isn't defined by blood or wealth, but by the people who choose to stand beside you when life feels unbearable. Arya had chosen him, and in return he chose her. If this story touched your heart even a little, if it reminded you that love, kindness, and second chances can appear when we least expect them, please take a moment to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Kindness Journal. It helps us continue sharing these powerful stories with the world. And before we close, I have one special request. Tell me in the comments below, do you believe love can bloom even between the most unexpected of souls?